Alright, hey guys, this is going to be my melee tutorial for MB2. This is just a video that's going to cover like the bare bone basics of how to punch, how to kick, sweep kick, and some of the very basic mechanics that are key to melee fighting. I kind of decided to make this video just because not many people know how to melee correctly in MB2, or they kind of lack the knowledge, and nobody seems to want to teach. So I figured I'd make this this video to help people out. Alright, first thing to cover is punches. Punches are real simple. You just click mouse 1. If you hold it down, you'll punch twice. You always lead with your left fist and then hit with your right. That'll become important a little bit later in another video, but next up is... Oh yeah, punches do about like 8 to 10 damage on people.
I can't believe you shot us!
Go ahead and punch me really quick, Vio. Thank you. There we go. Those 2 punches, so it did about 20 damage. That's why I'm at about 81 HP. You can punch while moving. There's all sorts of things you can do with punches. Next up is kicks. Kicks are done by pressing mouse 2 and a direction. And you can kick in any direction, by the way. So this is a W kick, D kick, A kick, S kick. Super simple. It's really great because you can knock people over with this, and then you can punch them while they're on the ground. Next up is blocking. So in order to block damage from kicks and punches, you have to hold reload. And when you're holding reload, you can't take damage from punches, and you won't get knocked over by kicks, as long as you're facing the direction of the incoming kick. For example, if I look away and Vio kicks me in the back, yeah, I'll get knocked over. So it depends on the direction. You have to look in the direction of the punches, you have to look in the direction of the kick if you want to actually block it. But blocking has stamina. So, let me make sure that's the right bar. Punch me really quick, Vio. Or just continue punching me. Yeah, okay. So that yellow bar in the bottom right is the stamina bar. If you have a lightsaber, it'll be a lot smaller, because BP also goes there. But it's a yellow bar, and every time you take a kick or a punch, it'll deal damage to that stamina bar. And when it reaches 0, you'll stagger. I'll kind of show you what that looks like. Alright, block for me. And it'll go like that. And then when they're like that, they'll be taking damage, and you can knock them over and all sorts of stuff. There's another really cool thing you can do with block, and that is trigger a counter animation when someone tries to punch you. So Vio just spam punch for a second, stand in place. It'll do that, and that does damage. Not too much, but it can be enough to finish people off. And that's how you counter people who just like to punch spam. It requires timing. You'll notice if I hold block and go into it, it's just going to take down my bar, and I won't actually trigger the animation. So you actually have to time it with like when the punch hits you. It's kind of forgiving, but you have to... as you can see there, it can kill people. But you have to time it as you're getting hit. Alright. Next up is some of the more advanced moves. Well, still basics. There's several special moves you can do in MB2 when you're in melee mode. And one of them is sweep kick. If you crouch and right click, it'll trigger a sweep kick animation. And you can use this to knock people down who are blocking and standing up. While they're like that, you can't knock them over with a normal kick or a punch or whatever. But what you can do is sweep kick, and it'll take their legs out from under them, and they'll get knocked over. But you can counter this by crouching while you block. So go ahead and crouch and block. And they won't get knocked over. However, it's important to note that it's just like kicks. So if I go behind Vio and I do a sweep kick, it'll still knock him over. So make sure you're facing the direction of the person when they do their sweep kick. Next thing you can do is an uppercut. You can do this by holding your use key, W and mouse 1. And what this does is it immediately takes, it breaks the defense of someone holding block. So immediately that stamina bar will just go to 0. Nice. And while they're like that, they're staggered, and you can go and beat them up. It also takes time, as you're seeing, for the stamina bar to come back. So your uppercut is super useful for going on the offense. The next thing you can do is a flying kick. If you hold use W and mouse 2 instead, you will do a flying kick animation. And this can also be blocked by holding block. If I go like this, like that, it won't knock him over. But this is super useful as a ranged attack. Super good against saber users as well, because usually you won't see it coming. But let's talk a little bit more about sweep kicks. Sweep kicks are unique because you can control when your sweep kick hits. For example, if I stand back... Okay, this is a normal sweep kick, right? Just so you guys can see the timing. If I go and turn around, it hits much quicker because the animation starts behind me. You can also do the reverse of this by looking about 30 degrees to the left and then triggering your sweep kick. And this is called a slow yod sweep kick. See that hit much later. So this is really good because you can set up traps for people when you're fighting. If you notice that people are running in and punching you and then running back out, and you can't hit them with normal sweep kick timing, what you can do is start your sweep kick as they're running in, and it'll hit them as soon as they get to you. Like that. Another cool thing about sweep kick is that it does extra damage to people who are on the ground. So, Vio knocked me over and then do a sweep kick on me. Nice. You see how much damage it did? It did about around like 20 HP damage. Let's just do that again, just to show. Nice. So this is great for finishing off opponents and just dealing damage if you can't seem to, yeah. Next thing I want to cover is katas. This is a basic kata. Hold down mouse 1 and mouse 2, and you'll do a kata animation. And if you hit someone, depending on which key you will press, it will do a different animation, but you'll put them in a grip hold, and it'll do a very good amount of damage. Just to show that, I'll reset my health really quick. And Vio just do a normal kata on me. 91 HP goes down to 49. That's roughly around half my health with just one single kata. So this is what... Katas are super important in melee fights because they deal the most damage. The quickest way to actually kill people if you can land them consistently. And there's several different ways that you can land these katas. But just for this video, I'll just cover the basic ways to do it. So you want to be able to stand right in front of them. Make sure that you hit them with your right hand. Or you'll notice the animation like hits them with the right hand. So it doesn't really matter which position you're at. You can be standing at the side of them. Not so sure. Yeah, you can be standing behind them. Yeah, of course, you know the other side. The other way you can do this is by turning around and then doing the kata animation. And that'll do a back kata, and it'll throw them over your shoulder. It doesn't do as much damage, but it's the quickest animation out of all the katas. Nice. Alright, the last thing I want to cover is get-ups, because get-ups are super important in a melee fight. Once you get knocked down, it's very important to know how to get back on your feet and take as little damage as possible. And that is, there's several get-ups you can do. The first one is a quick get-up. You want to spam spacebar as soon as you get hit, or when you're on the ground, and it'll quickly throw you to your feet. Typically, this is the get-up you want to use in all your melee fights. But there's a couple other ones that are super useful. Next one is a W get-up, which lets me kick forward as I get up, and it can knock people over who are trying to chase after you and get punches, or maybe they're going in for a sweep kick. You can do that animation, it'll knock them over. But you've got to be careful, because people can block this and then kata you as you're getting up. So I'll demonstrate that really quick. And all I did was press mouse 1 and mouse 2 while he was kicking up against my block. So you gotta be careful for that. But the last get up is a roll get up, and this lets you put as much distance as possible away from your opponent, depending on which way you roll. And you can roll all sorts of different directions. And you just do this by pressing D or A when you get knocked over. Typically, you want to go straight away from a person. So when you get knocked over, you want to look like kind of sideways and then roll to the side, and that'll send you as far away as possible. That's just about it for this video. If you have any questions, or if you see me in game, you can PM me and I can help answer your questions. If you just want to fight me, that's also cool. Thanks for tuning in.